Hello, and welcome to Inside ICSD with Dr. Brown, a show that takes a look inside the Ithaca City School District. I'm Luvelle Brown, Superintendent of Schools, and my co-host today is Brian Okumu, a senior at the Ithaca High School. Welcome, Brian.
Good to be here.
All right, today our guest on the show is a long-serving board member on the Board of Education, and he's here to help us get a sense of leadership and his role.
Thanks, Dr. Brown.
Mr. Peacock, tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to be on the Board of Education.
Well, about 10 years ago, I decided to join the board. I had 3 children in the school district, and I thought it was a fantastic way to not only look out for the best interests of my children, but also serve the other kids of Ithaca by serving as a board member.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. So, Mr. Peacock, what are some recent highlights from working on the Board of Education for the past 9 years?
Well, one of the main highlights that a lot of people will know about is the tremendous work we've done with our facilities. About 5 years ago, the community supported a facilities bond where we spent about $100 million to improve our facilities. Some of the obvious new things we have are new gymnasiums, an upgrade to the Fine and Performing Arts Center, but also people have noticed that in almost every building we've done tremendous things to restore our facilities for the next 20 to 25 years, including roofs, parking lot changes, overall infrastructure changes. So that was a huge achievement of the community to spend that much money to really put us in a great position going forward in the next 20 years.
Yeah, the new gym is pretty nice. And also, what have been the biggest challenges?
Well, first of all, one of the things we had to do in that 10-year period I've been serving is hire a new superintendent. We had a superintendent who was here for about 15 years, and making that transition for someone who served that long to new leadership is often difficult and can be very challenging. Luckily, we made a great hire with Dr. Brown. One of the challenges as a board is to be able to adjust to the new type of leadership. And what we had to do was come together as a board, allow Dr. Brown to lead, redefine our role and how we follow and how we support the important work of the district, while at the same time supporting Dr. Brown's new ideas and new initiatives, and not just saying, oh, that's not how the old superintendent did it. And so that's been a challenge.
Of course.
We also have had to maintain, if you notice, our board is very diverse, and we had to maintain the focus on the work. We had to focus on the students. We have business leaders on the board, we have attorneys, we have teachers, and we all come from a different perspective. But one of the things I'm most proud of with the leadership of our board president, Rob Ainsley, is we've allowed all these diverse points of view to come together and not fracture and become a fighting board that's not effective and is not focused on doing the good work for our students. So that's probably what I'm proudest of over the 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, Brian, the partnership between the board and superintendent is critical to any organization like ours being successful. We've attempted to be very strategic in our work. With that, Mr. Peacock, do you foresee any challenges or some things that we may be facing in the coming years that will push us to think differently?
Well, I think this year one of our most pressing challenges is going to be dealing with our budget. We're deep into budget season right now, and the state has pretty much kept our resources flat. Now, in our district, we're a little unusual in that most of our support, about 70% of it, comes from our local taxpayers. So we're not hurt that much by the 30% that the state contributes. But since it's been so flat for so long, we're going to have to be very creative and find ways to save money because the state's not increasing what they give us. And we really have to balance this idea of providing a first-class education with the burden that we place on taxpayers. So that's always the struggle, and we're really deep in it now, and this will be a challenging year, as Dr. Brown knows.
Yeah, this will be my 4th budget cycle with this team in place, and each year we've had challenges, but at the same time we've been able to innovate and grow programs and maintain staffing ratios. So in a sense we've done much with little. Going forward, Mr. Peacock, do you see some things or wish to see some things continue or some new things to continue in the midst of this budget challenge that we're in?
The first thing I want to see continue is the investment that we've made to our teachers. We've really changed the way we've approached professional development. We've really tried to up the training that we give to our teachers. Instead of just saying, hey, teachers, and play the blame game, get this done, we've really tried to support our teachers with new, innovative ways to engage their students, to use technology. But technology's not the focus alone. It's also just simply good teaching. How do you get a student excited about what you're teaching them? And that's what our professional development is really focused on. Also, we talked about this bond initiative. As happy as I am to see the new buildings and the new spaces that we have, I think we could still focus and do a better job of filling those spaces with good, great programs like we have now with the studio. We can do a lot more with our dance studio. You know, I'd like to see the black box used a little more. I'd like to see our athletics building used a little more. So I think we could do a better job and get students more engaged in the use of our great facilities here.
Yeah. Also, is there anything about Ithaca High School you want the larger community to know about?
You know what? I want them to know about fantastic students like yourselves. They can't see it now, but there's about 12 students who are really excited working in the studio now, putting this show on, doing their own independent broadcast, finding ideas, interviewing students. I saw this great one where someone was taping their friends playing a soccer grudge match. That it was just a simple, fun kind of broadcast. So, you know, knowing that kind of work and excitement and engagement is happening in this building is something that I really wish everybody could see.
Brian, it's been a pleasure to serve as superintendent in this district because, like Mr. Peacock, all 9 members of our Board of Education can speak to the work as eloquently and as articulately as he just did. They know about teaching and learning. They know young people's names. They participate in our activities, including being in the gym every morning at 6 a.m. Mr. Peacock is in there working out with young people just every morning, just about. You can tell. Look at his body. But it's been a pleasure to work on this board, to work with this board because they know the work so well.
And can I say one other thing about being a board member? What's special about being a board member in Ithaca is that when I go to those meetings on Tuesdays and all the other meetings that we attend, I'm doing the work on behalf of students and teachers that I know. You know, it's not some anonymous kids out there in some school district that's so large that I don't see them. I know if I'm voting on a 3rd grade initiative, I can probably identify about 10 3rd graders that I know who are going to be affected by that. If I'm voting on a girls hockey team, you know, budget, I know those players. You know, so that's a real special thing when you can directly connect the work you're doing to the students that it's affecting, and that's real special, and that's one of the greatest things about serving on the board.
Another example, I know Mr. Peacock's going to be at the annual IPEI Spelling Bee. You may not be participating as a speller, but I know you're going to be there. And I know you had some questions about the Spelling Bee.
Yes. All right, so what are you looking for most in the Spelling Bee?
Spelling Bee? Winning. This is a rather competitive event. My team, I'm going to be on a team with Mr. Jason Trumbull and Dr. Lloyd Bruce Jawo. And we're going this year in there to win. This is an outstanding event. I've been amazed at how many folks show up for this spelling bee, this adult spelling bee from our community. And it gets competitive. I've seen chants. I've seen special outfits people wear to this. So we're looking forward, my team looking forward to winning. We've done well in the past few years, but we haven't came home with the trophy. I'm looking out to everyone now. We're going to win this year, and I hope y'all are dusting off that trophy for my team. So,
and can I say something about that? You know, the spelling bee is fun and it does raise money, but that's just another outstanding example of how the community supports the work we're trying to do. You know, it's not just the district. This IPEI spelling bee is organized by a group that donates money to the district, that helps us learn, that gives us connection to leading educators, and actually helps us get the work done. So it's fun, but don't forget that group and others really support the work of the district and Dr. Brown, and we can't do it alone, and we really appreciate that.
So thank you, IPEI, for putting on such a great event each year. And thank you, Brian, for hosting today, and thank you, Mr. Peacock, for being our guest. And for all of you out there, please continue to tune in. Send us your suggestions or comments, and use the hashtag InsideICSD to tweet to us as well. Thank you.